When I was a kid growing up, our family would meet at my grandparents' for all the major holidays. When I say family, it was more than my parents and siblings. It would be my aunts and uncles and their kids. It seemed that food and games would mark these gatherings in my memory, but one thing that always intrigued me were the stories they would tell us about their own childhood on the farm. These weren't your typical farms either. The farms in the hills of West Virginia were small scale, steep hills and narrow valleys, and the animals were for meat, milk, and eggs rather than for the market. From these I learned from my grandparents that played the fiddle and the guitar and the banjo at the community shindigs they had. Now, in all my years, I never heard them play a single instrument of any kind. So this always brought a host of questions to my mind. Why did they ever stop? Where did these community gatherings go? Even as a young child, I always imagined going back in time and being there to see these things. The other thing that troubled me was how little they talked about their parents and where they actually lived. It seemed these places were far off in some unknown land. I reasoned then that one day I would search for these places to connect the dots in my mind. Today, my cousin Brian and I do just that. And by now, if you have watched any of my prior videos on uncovering my ancestors, you will see that we have made connections to their land, where they were buried, and the hard life they lived in these remote regions of the state. Alright, you guys, welcome back. I'm with my cousin Brian. We are going to our grandparents' home site. Now this one here, he was a Union soldier. He actually was based out of Clarksburg, West Virginia, and he was stationed over in Berkeley County, West Virginia, over in the Eastern Panhandle, not far from where I live. They had a little over 300 acres up here, and we're gonna go check out where the house actually stood. If it's detectable, we'll come back tomorrow and we'll detect it. John W. Batson served in the 17th Regiment Infantry. It was organized at Wheeling, West Virginia on September 26, 1864, and served until February 25, 1865. It was attached to the Reserve Division District at Harpers Ferry, West Virginia, west of Sleepy Hollow. His wife, Elizabeth, her last name was Kendall, and the Kendalls were our 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th great-grandparents. Their house was up here, and he was a Revolutionary War patriot, and I found him through the Sons of the American Revolution. His service moved to Clarksburg, West Virginia on September 27, 1864, and he guarded the railroad there on a garrison duty until he mustered out. He mustered out on June 30th, 1865. We have 5 generations that lived up here. My son and I, we went to their cemetery, and I'll put a link to that video. But we're gonna check this out.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, it was here. It was here when he was alive. And he always talked about the old home place up here. So this is going to fork. The Kendall house is going to be on the right. Batson house is going to be on the left. And this road right here goes clear up there to where you and I were, where I found that great seal button. Is on this road. All right, you guys. I found it. I don't think it's going to be detectable, unfortunately. This is the foundation here. This is the cellar hole. The chimney is right there. And the entrance to the house, I believe it's going to be right over here. Well, look at this. This is the old Batson homestead. I don't know if you guys can see. This is the cornerstone here. And I'm just looking to see what we could detect. This is tough. There's here's an addition that comes out this way. Yeah, there's a chimney, and there was a cellar in it right here. It's all cut stone. It all came back this way. Yeah, I would have to bring my small cool up. Here's the edge of the house right here. So, I mean, this was a house. We found it, and this is the first time we've ever been here. First time. I don't know if it's detectable. There's a deer stand right there, so there's probably a lot of rifle shells in here. and it's just real thick of overgrowth here. The only place that I would be able to get a detector in here is under this bush, over here by that tree, and inside a little bit. I mean, we can do it just to see if we could find anything.
It's gonna take 20 minutes.
Yeah, 10-20 minutes. He was a Civil War soldier. He's a Union Civil War soldier, and he's buried right down here in the Jones Cemetery, where the Jones are named after our family. Our family is, my grandma was a Jones, and that's where they're buried. John W. Batson. This is his house right here. I'm going to take some pictures, and then we're going to go to his wife's house, which is right down here too. We're going to go try to find it. We're at what we think is the Kendall house. I didn't film everything, but the guy that owns the property now, that hunts it, he said you go past the camp and it's on the left, and he said there's a concrete cap over the well, and I think this is it. We were trying to see if it squared up, and we didn't bring our shovels or anything. I don't know if this is it or not, but I think it could be. We looked at an old map. They've cleared this off for hunting, and according to the old map, it's set right in here. But he said it was to the left of the house here, and we did find china. I didn't show that on the video here yet because it just looked like a refuse pile, but we found china and plates and cups, stuff over there. It could be over there too, but they have put this cabin right on the site. He would have told me that. Here's the creek, and we did see stuff over here that we thought could be from a house because it was china stuff. Here's walnuts. We found a lot of walnut trees, which is a good sign. Let's see what this is. Nope. There it is. There's the well.
So that very well could have been the house.
That is the well right there. Brian, right here's the house. Here's the foundation right here.
Oh, yeah.
This is the house.
It looks like it's been pushed in.
It's been burned.
Well, that's burnt after the fact.
This is the house. There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
This is it. Okay, so, yep, this is the house. We can metal detect this. We can metal detect this. So this is the house right here. Our grandmother, she was a Kendall. And
That's the bed she slept on.
that's the bed she slept on. Now, the Kendalls here, he was a Revolutionary War patriot, Samuel Kendall the first, and he's buried right out here. He died in 1823. So these sites are old. And his son, the second, and son, the third, all lived here, and they're all buried here. And they married into our family, which were the Batsons. And the Batson's house was right up there where we just were. But you can see what a mess this is, but the house stood right here. And so I would say that china, those plates and stuff came from the house.
Yeah.
All right, you guys, I'm going to take you over there real quick. I'm going to show you what we think has come out of this house.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's the corner.
Yeah.
That's the corner. And I'll tell you guys in the videos where you find walnut trees, and they're falling right now. Where you find walnut trees, you will find house sites pretty commonly here. There's a foundation. There's a foundation right here. There's foundation right here. So there was probably a barn or a cellar here right across from the house. Front yard, Brian. So we can detect all that pretty well. And right up here, we can detect this pretty well, I believe. Real easily. They tilled this up because they put corn in here. But there's china. There's china. Yeah, it's real delicate glass. There's stones here too. There could be another house over here. Porcelain. This is porcelain here. This is porcelain. Porcelain's different than china. It's made differently. Right here, Brian.
There's a lot of china or porcelain in here. Look at it. That's crock. Piece of a crock.
Crock?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I would rather this site be the Union soldier site of our Batson grandpa, because if he lost any buttons or sword plates or breastplates, this is where they would be. And there's a foundation right there, and right here. This is where they grew up for about 150 years, right here. They scratched out a living right here, living off the land. All right, you guys, I'm gonna end the video here. We're gonna come here tomorrow and we're gonna metal detect this. Don't know if we'll find anything other than rifle shells or shotgun stamps. But whatever we find is gonna be from our grandparents and generations of them. Anyway, we're at the site of my third great grandmother's house. We're hoping we find something here from that time period, that when she lived here. But we know it stood right here. And Brian and I came up here yesterday and we found some china out here in the yard. You know, we're not gonna be here all day because we don't think we're gonna find much here. We got 3 sites that we're gonna hit today. And if you guys stick around, we'll show you everything we find, all right? All right, it's not treasure, but there's a lot of these. And these old pioneers, they would sustain themselves through gardens and canning. And these date back to about the Civil War, a little later, maybe 1860s to 70s. I don't know when this one was, but it's from that time period. Now I'm not going to show you any more of those because Brian, he's been finding them too, and he found a decorative fitting, probably from the 20s. I don't know how long. We've done some test pits here, and with this being a hunting camp, you know, there's beer cans and there's aluminum all over the place, and it's just trash city. So we'll find a couple things here. I told him, I said, we'll move on to the next site. I'm sure there's plenty of old stuff in the ground here, but I'm not going to spend all day here digging up, you know, hunter's trash, and that's exactly what it is. All right, you guys, second thing, I just dug that canning jar lid, and I found a piece of silverware, and I thought it was aluminum. It still could be aluminum, but man, it's real heavy, and it come out of the ground looking like that. And this is the handle of silverware, and the rest of it is gone. But this is not aluminum. It is very heavy. I actually think it's silver. I'm gonna take it over to Brian, see what he thinks. Honest opinion. Doesn't that feel heavy?
That's aluminum.
They're very heavy. Yeah, I mean, it could be maybe a metal silver plated or...
Yeah, but it's heavy, isn't it?
Too heavy for aluminum, I think.
All right, let's keep going. All right, you guys. Brian and I think the house actually stood over here and not over there. And we're finding mason jar lids all over the ground here. And lots of garbage and trash is in the ground, unfortunately. I had it, you know, one of my many signals, and I just popped this out of the ground. And it is an old fork. It is an old fork.
Fork's old, it's got arthritis.
It's old. Yeah. Look at that. Can you imagine sticking that in your mouth? It's got it pretty fancy. It's got some fancy on it. You know, well, it's not, you know, collectible, but I would say it's from the late 1800s easily. Even the mid 1800s. All right, we'll pocket that. That's a treasure. And I found something, and I see it, and it's not treasurable, but it's from my grandparents, and right there it is. And it is a spoon. Woohoo! It is a spoon. I have been digging nothing but canning jar lids, but there's a silver plated spoon from my grandparents from way back when. Not old like I have over there where I live in Virginia, man. I mean, we would be expecting pewter and like really old stuff, but not over here. I did find something. I don't know what it is. I told Brian, I said, I think it's a stein top for an old stein. It's old metal, and it's kind of pewter. It's pewter. And here looks like is where it sat. So I'm thinking maybe this was glass right here. So you could see. It could have been, or ceramic, could have been old first generation percolator, but it's definitely, it's old metal. And there was a hinge right there. You know, it is touchable, tangible from my family. All right. I'll wait for Brian to get up here. Yeah, it is a great seal button. I can see it right off the bat. So this is from World War I or World War II, but mostly I think World War I. Man, it's in great shape. Beautiful. It's a beautiful button. Still has the shank. I thought that was going to be a large cent, but yeah, it's a great seal button. And it's almost 100 years old now. It could be 100 years old. Let me show Brian. I'll show you what I found, which, I mean, it's not much up there, but.
Oh, yeah.
See?
Yeah.
That's a World War I or World War II. They did make them up until World War II, but that is called a Great Seal button, and it was on a military uniform. All right. A signal here. Now, I told Brian I found something that I rarely find, and that is a fork. And I want you guys to see the tines on that fork. Do you see how long that is? Good night. That is like an old fork, but it is crazy long. And I probably have only found just a few forks ever. We found the cellar right there. This old piece of crockery right here. They would store their kraut, cabbage, and things in that they could ferment. I told Brian this is a beautiful little valley. This is a pretty little valley to locate in. It's pretty remote, but it's beautiful. And but they were daggone poor. They were real poor because we have not found anything here but canning stuff. So they lived off of their canned food. Yeah.
Penny or?
Yeah. Is it a? So at least an Indian head, maybe?
Maybe, nah, might not be that old at all. That might be Lincoln's head.
It's a stick of Lincoln.
Yeah. No,
it
be
could.
Lincoln.
Yeah, it is.
Is it? What's on the back?
Well, this is corrosion. Now, what I would say is, it's either, see, you can see his head right there, and it looks like 19 something.
Well, that's a coin, baby.
It's a coin, baby. All right, you guys, Brian and I, we are walking to the next house site. This house site is actually my uncle's. This would be my great uncle and his dad, my great uncle. Their last name was Jones, and we're coming up on the house site now. It's real weedy. We probably won't be able to get a lot of detecting here. I actually went ahead and got my MineLab with a small coil. This is a log house. This log house was standing clear up until I was out of college. And now it's just a pile of rubble. So what we're gonna do, well, you know, we can't get in there. This part here was the kitchen. The main part of the house there was a living room, and there on the left was a covered porch. So anything would have been lost would have been right over there. We're going to just see if we can't find at least one thing. And then we got another site right below this where another uncle lived. These places date back into the mid 1800s, and Brian and I, we've been having lively conversations about how poor our family were back in these hills. But there's probably not going to be a whole lot here. This is real swampy. Real swampy. So what we'll do is we'll swing around here for a little bit. Brian, I mean, there's water right here. Standing water. I'm gonna get over here and see if you guys can see it. I don't know why they built their houses down in this kind of place. Let me get over here where you guys can see. The bramble briar's real bad in here. Okay. You see the logs. Some big logs to the door into the house is right there. But let's turn our machines on, see if we can't find at least one object. One thing. All right, see you in a minute. All right, you guys, I'm gonna pop this little piece of footage in with the video. If you looked at the prior video about our hunt, my son and my hunt for my grandfather Sid Jones's resting place, final resting place, and this is actually where he lived. He lived here for some time, and then up the valley when he got married to my grandmother, they moved up here to a nicer home. But right here beside the trailer on the back side of that is where my grandfather was killed, and he was killed on a farming accident. He was actually mowing this field right here with a hay rake being pulled by horses. And on that far bank over there, they found where they said it looked like the horses drove up that hillside to get away from something. And they thought that maybe it was either they hit into a nest of bees or a snake. And it just was uncharacteristic of those horses to do what they did. But they found the horses up the valley there, and he was dead, lying on the ground. And she came walking down this road and saw him lying over there, went over there. And so she was 26 years old, and she had a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. And unfortunately, as a young mother with young children, she had to take care of all the burial arrangements and funeral arrangements. And but I just wanted to show you, this is right here where he drew his last breath and went into eternity. I have been digging in swamp, and the water is just laying in here, and everything that I have found has just been junk, so not worthy even to film. I'm going to call it today here. I don't know if I'm going to put this in the video. I'm going to take a couple pictures of the old cabin, Jake Jones cabin, and we're gonna get out of here. Hit like, share, and subscribe. We'll catch you on the next one. Take care. God bless.